Hello sports fan, this is Stephen Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special hot topic video. I'm going to be covering in this video Donald Sterling of the Los Angeles Clippers, the owner who made the racist comments not only about Magic Johnson, African Americans as a whole, and Matt Kemp, stemming from what it seems audio tape that sounds for all intents and purposes like Donald Sterling. Voice recognition, things like that sound just like him. He's talking to his mistress. After all, he is a married man. But when you look at the bottom line of why we're here right now, Donald Sterling has not only violated African Americans, he's violated a lot of society. When you look at white people, when you look at Mexican people, anybody, any ethnic race, whatever the case may be, Jamaican, Haitian, whatever, African, whatever you want to call yourselves or whatever you go by, it's a violation. To discriminate, for a white man to discriminate against you, let alone disrespectful, or any man of that color or race, to disrespect another race and be racist towards them is very disrespectful. The problem that I have with Mr. Sterling, you feel this way about African Americans, and you want to go off and you want to say that, oh, you have a problem with Magic Johnson being on your mistress's Instagram and it being prodded around. For one, Magic Johnson is one of the great NBA players who have played the game and has given back to African Americans for several decades now. Now, when you look at your comments, over half your team is black, over half the NBA is black. You know that those same black people that you don't want at your games are the same people running up and down the floor, making your Clippers now worth $700 or $800 million when you bought them for less than $20 million. So I'm just at a loss for words when I hear Donald Sterling's comments on those audio tapes. Another thing, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Maya Angelou, Rosa Parks, some of the great African Americans and Africans and people that have been the head of the civil rights movement have fought so not only African Americans but all races can live without this type of racism. You know, I hear that people say it's 2014, there is no racism left. Well, here's a direct example. You have an NBA owner who at the highest level, this is the highest basketball competition in the world, the NBA, the National Basketball Association, where you should be able to get a job if you have that talent. But somehow I start to think that a lot of players that have gone to try out may have been discriminated against. You look at the NBA as dropping the ball in this situation because there's been several reports, several lawsuits against Donald Sterling in the past involving these type things, these type accusations. You look at him being sued by different housing residents because he's refused them for them having a skin color different than his. You look at him being racist in some of the comments that we've heard from Baron Davis. You know, you hear certain NBA players like Dominique Wilkins talk about his things and how he had to go through an awkward stage just in a little time frame with the Clippers. And then I wonder, you have all these players like Elton Brand, things like this that have really played with them for years and years and known about the racism, and they go ignore it when they come out with it. Just a few weeks ago, Baron Davis spoke about the racism, and it seemed to go through everyone's ears, through one ear out the other. Personally, Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, this will be his first big task to handle in a seismic situation, and this is a fully loaded gun here we're dealing with. Now, I think that in this situation, David Stern has a lot to do with some of this blame of this getting out of control as it is. Because David Stern, under his watch, saw lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit come his direction. And he didn't address this problem. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, he does have a major hand in this, even though he's retired. Now, Adam Silver may have to clear up this mess, but in the grand scheme of things, what can we do as a society to stop racism? Not just in sports, not just in society, but all over. to where everybody, no matter your skin color, no matter your complexion, no matter your background, no matter your upbringing, you should have a chance to realistically fight for your goals and your dreams without having someone fight back and try to stop you from doing that just because the color of your skin. Now, what it boils down to, the NBA does not have the power to force Donald Sterling into selling the NBA Clippers, but I think that they need to make it very uncomfortable for him if he continues to be the Clippers owner. Michael Jordan is the only owner to date to really come out and have a valid opinion about this, and I applaud him for that. But now I look at the other NBA owners. Why not speak up now? Mark Cuban, especially, who has a voice and a 2 cents on everything else. Why not speak up on this situation? Why not speak up and give your honest opinion about how you feel? After all, the NBA is close to 80-85% African American, right? Now, when it comes down to it, it's flat out sad to hear his comments and his statements. And his statements and comments could have just may very well changed the NBA playoffs for his own team, the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, in defense, I don't know what I would have done if I was faced with that situation to play a basketball game, a big-time playoff basketball game against the Golden State Warriors. But when it comes down to it, I've heard a lot of people say the Clippers threw the game, that they did it to try to throw the game to prove a point to Sterling. But when it comes down to it, you have to put yourselves in their shoes, in the athlete's shoes, to play for an owner who does not care for you, who does not like you, who is prejudiced against you because of your skin color. No matter what your talent is, no matter how good of an NBA player you are, he still looks at you as property. That old South slave mentality. But I say that to say the NBA needs to act fast, act swiftly. Yes, I know everybody's due to their day in court, or in this case, due to the investigation, will be acted swift upon. But when it comes down to it, there's no punishment that can hurt the Clippers worse than Jeff Van Gundy's idea, where you can make every single player, every single staff member, even Doc Rivers, the head coach, a free agent after this season, and let them go elsewhere. And see how many players, top notch or not, come to play for the Clippers. Now, if I was a Clippers fan, which I'm not, I would not try to support them financially, but I would support the Clippers team, because those players like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, they had nothing to do with this. Now, they did show a sign of solidarity on last night with the game against the Warriors, when they all wore the black patch and the black socks and things like that, and the black tape. And other NBA players did do the same. I know I saw the Houston Rockets versus the Portland Trailblazers. They had it going on too, and the Clippers also changed their warm-ups and things like that inside out, so you didn't see the actual name, and they threw it down in half court. But how can we stop this? As players unite all over the NBA, and you hear players like LeBron James say there's no place for it, and there's no place for things like this, how do we stop this from happening again? At the end of the day, truly, there's no way to stop racism. There's not a way to go through and search everybody's mind, everybody's heart, everybody's soul, and to see exactly how they feel. But it is a way to make sure that this never happens again. Make his punishment so heavy, make it so humongous that the next person that ever thinks about saying anything like that will think twice. Make it so uncomfortable that Donald Sterling can't even walk the streets without being reminded of what he said, of what he did. And at the end of the day, if he wants to show up to the game, which is on Tuesday, and not realistically use common sense, yeah, then he should be made to hear the boos. He should be made to hear how people feel. Those same African Americans that he basically berated, downgraded, talked about, shamed out. Those same Mexicans, those same minorities that come to your games, that pay your bills, should be the same ones that you're forced to listen to. Each and every one of them. And at the end of the day, you know, $1 million fine probably wouldn't hurt your pockets because you're a billionaire, Mr. Sterling. But at the end of the day, God have mercy on your soul. Now, I understand you may be brought up in that way. I understand that you may have been raised in that form of fashion. But when you become an adult, you have to learn. Some ways are just not right. When you become at the age where you can learn right from wrong, you know that racism isn't right. I don't care how long you've been raised in that type of environment. Look around. It's 2014. People won't stand for that anymore. And at the end of the day, I think they should give him the death penalty as far as the NBA goes. Suspend him for years. Not just the rest of the playoffs, not just one season, multiple seasons. Yeah, you may be able to watch the game from your mansion or some of the buildings you own. Cool. But dock them draft picks. Do the most heinous thing you can do to Donald Sterling, the racist, excuse me. Now, when it comes down to it, I hope the Clippers make it at least to the NBA Finals. If they can go and muster up the strength and muster up the girth to put this all together, while at the same time battling how they feel inside. Knowing that their owner hates them or doesn't care for their skin complexion or doesn't care for their families. I'm rooting for them. But at the end of the day, we have to do better as a society. We have to do better and uplift each other, uplift one another. No matter if you're black, white, Asian, Spanish, whatever your culture is, whatever your ethnic background is, we have to uplift each other. Because at the end of the day, racism is only going to be alive as long as we allow it to be alive. Long story short, in closing, I despise Donald Sterling, the owner of the Clippers. And yeah, he can be a billionaire, but that money makes no difference. He's one of the littlest people inside. He's one of the smallest bugs beneath a bug at this point in time, in my view. And while yes, I believe in second chances, his second chance has to come after he seriously shows us, that he is contrite about this. And yeah, he may still always have $1 billion in the bank. He may be able to go out and buy whatever he wants. But at the end of the day, public humiliation will humble you. And I hope that God does something to soften your heart or do something to make you realize the error in your ways. I want to know what you guys feel out there. No matter what race you are, no matter what ethnic background you come from, you could be white, you could be mixed, you could be black, Asian, Japanese, Chinese. Chime in. Let me know what you guys feel. Let me know what a proper punishment should be for Mr. Donald Sterling, since he feels so crazy about African Americans and ethnics. Let me know what you think. As a minority, if you are a minority, what do you feel about this subject? Don't forget to check me out at justmypicks.com each and every day for all the breaking news. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV and check out my YouTube. Please subscribe, YouTube.com/JustMyPicksTV. Thank you very much for checking us out. Please share this video in your sports group so we can debate with you. Chime us in, leave comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much and have a great day.